and lessons learned from 100 billion push notifications. So what about 100 billion? Okay, so okay, just before that, I am Ravi. I am the founder of Push Engage. So what is why 100 billion, right? So we are Push Engage. We serve customers in 150 countries. 90% of it outside India. We are doing 3 to 5 billion push every month right now, and that 100 billion is the total we have spent, and the idea is to share what we have seen. Okay, after this there will not be any marketing message from my side, but just to tell you why you should listen to this talk and why we have enough data to share what we are sharing. We have a lot of at scale. We are 515 on Captra. We have been consistently 6 quarters high performer in web push. So in summary, I have removed the logos of big customers, but we have Domino's, 1-800 Flowers in India, Reliance Ajio, Times Now. So some very large, customers globally. So this is just about us. The interesting part today is going to be what we are going to do is we're going to first talk about what is web push for those who don't know, which I assume there are none or maybe few, and then we'll talk about chal kya raha, what is working, how can I make more money. I'm all here. If you are an e-commerce person, I'm here to make you more money. That's my only goal. If you are a developer, I can tell you how you can make your client. That's the only thing I understand, and that's what I'm going to only talk about. Rest all is all details. Okay, kya campaign hai, kyun karna hai, kya personalization, right, with all numbers. So there are a lot of numbers. So if you're not very comfortable, stop me. I'll walk you through the math, but I'll walk you through some rough numbers so you can see what to expect, right? So सबसे पहले let's begin with saying what is web push, what are we talking about. So this kind of pop-up, when you go to a site, you would see this is what is web push, right? We are all clear. It works on mobile and desktop browsers. ठीक है? We all clear on that? Okay, in incognito mode it doesn't work. There are some more variations. In iOS it doesn't work, but those are the few exceptions. Otherwise that's how it works. When this allow is pressed, that is when you get the subscriber data, or that is when somebody becomes your subscriber. At that time there is no personal information. Why is this important? Some of you will say, Arey, I have email list of 1 lakh people. Now can you merge with this list? So it's two separate. There are some other ways by doing it, but not by this allow. I don't get his email, I don't get their name, nothing, right? So this is how your subscription happens. Now what happens? Now when can you reach them? You can reach them anywhere, anytime, when they are online. Which means, oh, I am browsing Facebook or I am watching this video, I could be sending them notification from my site, hopefully urgent and important. We'll talk about that, and they will get it. This channel has one unique thing which I must point, and as a marketer I am saying expiry time. Most other channels which are used for what is called re-engagement. So where does this channel fit? What is the work? ये क्या करती है? Basically what it is doing is re-engagement. Means customer has come once to your site. The problem it is solving is he is never coming back. How do I get him back? And in that, what do? What are the methods you have? You can do email marketing or you can do retargeting. This is the third. Now in all of those, this is the only one which has expiry. Expiry means send a offer, 4 hours expired, and the person is not online, he will not get the notification. Okay, so that's about web push. What are the browsers supported? The answer summary, almost all. You can read the big list, because we have been one of the early vendors and we support everything like Samsung Internet, UC browser, Opera, and this is one of the other differentiators. Some people ask, oh, what's different? There will be very few who will match the scope we have, AMP, whatever you name it, but we support. The only one which is not there is iOS, rest all is there. Good bit for anybody, e-commerce 85-90% browser share. So it's a good time to think about if not already doing. So this is that. What is the notification look like? This is the standard one. Again, the color will differ on the depending on which version of laptop or meaning OS you are, and then there could be some with a banner and there could be some multiple, some basics. So this is what push we're talking about. Now with that I'll jump into the ROI. What are we seeing now? Any questions before that? This is all basics so far. Okay. So what are we seeing? The first thing we are seeing, and I was sharing this little informally earlier, was one of my common most of the common friends, when I talk, they say, oh, I always click deny, man. I don't know who are you selling your software to, right? And I tell, my data doesn't indicate that. What I see is, if you use a single step, I see 15% people opting in. What it means is, out of the 100 people that visited, 15 of them said allow, right? And so maybe the segment is different. Maybe the people who are saying block are the most vocal. It's a common thing, you might know, right? 7 times more likely negative people are reviewing, right? So same stuff. So the people who make the most noise, I'm blocking, actually make you feel that the opt-in rates are low, but our numbers do not indicate, right? Again, How many people in the industry are actually measuring this number? I do not know. We haven't seen many tools, but we have a specific measurement called opt-in analytics. So that's why I'm able to give you this, and you can measure on a daily. But that's the number we see even in a multi-step, which means where I know in the morning on some of the sessions people were saying, okay, when I visit a site, I may not know why you're asking me for a notification. So why don't you tell me what will you do with it? So you could be showing a message which is called a multi-step. You can say, okay, I'm going to send you notification about your order alerts or about price alerts about this. Do you now want it? Yes. So that is a multi-step. Here also you still have a very high percentage is what I was going to say, right? That is again, by the way, a recommended method. Just on this slide, opt-in, how do you take opt-in? Better to tell what you're going to send it for, right? And not necessarily at the time of somebody landing. So this is what we see. The second slide is around which is where we started, which is how do we compare with email. So email performance declined a lot over years, and this is what where we, or at least as a channel, a lot of people saw the opportunity. If I'm sending email to 100 people, this is aggregate MailChimp data and this is aggregate push engage data, I was seeing only 1 to 3 people clicking and coming back out of those 100. 3 out of 100, right? And over here I can see as high as 30. So there was almost a 10x difference in the clicks from the same number of subscribers. Now this point was the number one point for the rapid adoption so far, and it still continues to hold. Again, over time, I will tell you this, any new channel, again, if you are a marketer, you know this, every channel when it starts will have the hype cycle, it will perform 50 times. Over time it will be steady state, but if you are doing 10 to 20x today, in steady state you still will be 4 to 5x, which means this channel has legs. If you are using email, you must have web push because you're missing it out, and people will not tell you, but I'm telling you, and I'll show you more numbers. So this is the first point, clicks very high. And then you can say, why is that? Okay, you look at the middle, the open rates. What's happening to the open? Only 15 to 30% of the people are opening the mail. And when are they opening? Maybe they're opening later, right? So for example, this conference today, you are getting some notifications. Some of you who have subscribed to, they all powered by us. Now imagine that notification coming saying, hey, Ravi's session is starting at 2 o'clock, but you opening at 3 o'clock. What use it is in email? That's why it has to be real time. It has to be on your browser. That's the reason why views are very high, because they come in real time, and most of us are online most of the time, and then the clicks are high. So that's the first point. Because of the real time nature, clicks are high. And number two is the subscription rate is very high. Now this is the two things when joined together, very quickly my subscription goes up and the clicks go up. From that, what we see in general is in 4 to 6 months, in majority of our customers, this is overtaking email in terms of revenue, and that's a very big statement. And I'm talking about very big customers, the customers who have 2 to 5 million subscribers, that level I'm talking. So that's the scale we have seen. I'm not saying it will happen to you, but that's what we have seen when done well. So that's the point I want to make. The high subscription and high click, that's what is causing the high ROI today. But again, your mileage may vary, you got to test, right? Okay, then comes the third part. This is again for anybody in the audience who's doing any kind of retargeting, right? And why are we talking retargeting? Again, just to go back, the problem we are solving is I have a customer who came once, does not come back. What are the options? Email marketing. All right. Option number two, I cookie the user using Google or Facebook cookie, and then I retarget. This is comparing to that. How do we compare? I say, okay, I have 100,000 or a 1 lakh subscriber base. I am sending one notification a day. Okay, too much math, I know, but I'm sorry guys, I cannot do without numbers. And so I am generating at like 70% view, whatever, 3,500 clicks for one notification. So many clicks I'm generating. This is my enterprise plan. Okay, you can buy much cheaper plans. Even at this cost per click is this. Now what do you have to compare this? You have to go and compare with your retargeting cost. If you even have a $250 budget, you take all of it and put it here, because you're going to generate so many clicks for that. The point I'm making is retargeting using web push, extremely cost effective because you are in control, and as a tool we are not charging by the click, right? So that's the whole point. But are we talking apples to apples? No. So let me clarify. In retargeting, you will reach 95% of the people. 5% you can't cookie. Here am I talking about 95%? No, only the 15%. Just remember that, right? So I just want to be fair. But for that, It absolutely makes sense, and we'll talk about those campaigns. So the whole point, yes. So it can be absolutely. So use this in supplements with email, in supplement with retargeting. That is where this is fitting well, right? Okay. So this is so far. If I ran through too much, ask me questions. And nobody has questions. Okay. All right. I'll go through. So let's talk about what is an ideal web push, and this keeps coming up a lot more. Some of you might have heard about the recent Chrome changes, or some of you not. It depends where you are in the journey. Recently, Chrome announced that we see some sites asking for permission who are very spammy. I mean, there have been all kind of stuff is happening, right? So Chrome has become very conservative, and they are saying we're going to monitor what is your subscription rate, and if your subscription rate at the site is very low, by default we will not show the pop-up. We will have what is called the quiet UI, which means when you go in the detail, you will see instead of saying allow, it is the reverse, like you have to click one more button to get. So the summary of it is they're trying to make sure that you're not spamming anybody. This makes this slide even more important. I used to have this slide earlier, I have it now. This is very important. So what is an ideal web push? It has the context of the user, it is personalized, and it is both important and urgent. The reason why I mention this is you do not want to be sending push notifications for a thing that is not urgent and that is not important for the user, because it annoys the user, and once they block you, you're gone, right? So that is becoming even more important given the new changes, right? And what are some of those? I'll give you a few examples of those campaigns. One I already spoke informally. Let's say you're looking for a flight ticket from Mumbai to Bangkok, and I will buy it only when it is below 10,000 rupees. Now that's an alert you want. That's a price alert, a classic one. Or if somebody has abandoned a product in the cart, that's a good one to send. Only with the same image with the same product, right? So those are the cases where it makes sense at the right time. Or if I'm looking for a hotel in Goa, this person is going to make that buying decision in next 4 days. So from the time I did the search, within next 4 days, sending Goa related notifications, if he has not purchased, or he or she, does make sense. And these are all the notifications. We're not talking about mass. Of course you can do mass if you have a flash sale, but that's the whole point I'm making. Again, I'm sure you guys already know this, but I just wanted to re-emphasize this is becoming more. So what are the top 3 campaigns? Sorry, I still have what are the top campaigns we see, just to kind of answer the big question I wanted to answer for e-commerce guys. Top 3 campaigns we see: number one, cart abandon, browse, price alert. No, I'll go through one by one each of them. Some of them we already know, but we'll just peel it little with some more numbers. What are we seeing, right? uh, Outside that there are more campaigns, it depends on your site, but these are the top for. And again, by this data comes from as many e-commerce sites we have seen, and half of our customers are e-commerce. All right. So the question when comes with cart abandon, a lot of you will be, should I do through email or should I do through web push? And so we did a analysis of this question. We looked at a lot of case studies using email data, those who were using email for doing cart abandonment, and then we said our case studies using push notification. And what we found was, if you used web push, we had a 5x higher reach. What do I mean by reach? What happens is, when you abandon a product, I want you to see the notification about forgetting the product in the cart within certain duration, right? And if I can't reach you, out of 100 who abandon, if I can reach only 10 versus 50 in web push, then it makes a lot of difference. And that is what this study indicated. And no wonder what we were also seeing in the market was a lot of people, I'm not saying all email campaigns come here, but some campaigns people are doing email versus web push decision. Should I do this in email or web push? And this happens to be the number one, which actually has moved up on the web push side. So if I have a single takeaway apart from others for e-commerce folks here in the room is nothing else, just do cart abandon on web push and you'll be fine. And this is fully automated once you set it up. So that's my biggest takeaway for you, right? And we'll share some numbers how much, but we see 10 to 30% extra revenue from this, right? So that's the first one. Then how does it look? Yeah, it's all fully personalized. I blanked all the logos and all, but basically all the image, whatever you're sending, and then you are able to send, okay, right away after 1 hour, whatever, till the person checks out, right? You're monitoring. So that's the cart abandon. Now related to that, and very interestingly, what we call as a middle of the funnel campaign. What's a middle of the funnel campaign? cart abandon is when somebody is already checked out, right? This campaign means I have now browsed this product. I showed interest, but I didn't do anything on it. Maybe in last 30 days, I went to this page for 4 times. So now for those people, I can do this what we call as a browse abandon. This is also equally popular, and not many people know of this campaign though. But we see this perform as well as cart. And the beauty of this is it has a bigger reach, because think of it: 100 people land on your site, 60 are doing searches, 60% search rate. Of the 60, maybe 10-15% adding to cart, or maybe less than that, right? So now you're targeting that 60 minus 15, right? So that 35-40, whereas in the cart abandon you're maybe targeting only 10 or whatever, right? So the point I'm making is this has a broader reach, and we are seeing equal results, and in some cases much better than cart abandonment. So this is the second one. Again, this is, like I said, not very commonly used, but I can tell you, for example, I know Amazon uses it heavily. You would have seen if you go to a certain product page on Amazon, they just send you that, so this is what we're talking about. So these are my top two, right? Apart from that, you can do, sorry, the classic price alert. Again, very popular for travel sites. The way it works is you can let the user set the threshold, or you can configure all that is there. See, all of this what we have built is a product by a marketer for a marketer. So in our case, it's all configurable. But in general, you'll see this, where you can say, oh, it has dropped by X%, send me alert, right? Or it could be inventory availability. So this one also equally important. Now, the next level of web push which we have, or rather which we think is going to evolve, and we are seeing a lot of value in this, and I want to talk a little bit of this, is around dynamic segmentation. So one of the things, for example, we will be doing, or I know other tools also do to some extent, is looking at what did I do on the site, and dynamically, let's say I visited an iPhone page 4 times in last 30 days, and you don't belong to iPhone segment, I'll create an iPhone segment, you will be put in that segment dynamically, right? And then later to the marketing guy, he is able to then send a relevant message, right? So dynamic segment, there are many use cases. One of them is, okay, I am doing this new product launch now, can you dynamically tell me who should I send this notification to, because I know what is this product, what are the attributes for it. So the system, this is our machine learning piece, AI piece, which is working, and some of it is live, some happening as we speak. Who's most likely to click, who's most likely to buy, what's the ideal time to send, right? Variations thereof. Again, I don't want to go deeper, but those are the things which are coming up next, apart from the basic stuff, which when done well can actually make sure that you're not annoying the user, right? And then of course personalization, we didn't touch much on it, but personalization is there right from the day one for us, which means you can say, hey user X, hey user Y, right? And so that's something very important. And then we have another one interesting, which is called send in customer time zone. This is usually important for anybody who has a global business. You want to send this message at 10 a.m., but in America there are 5 time zones. So how do you send it? 10 a.m. is different across, right? So with a single click, for example, we have this example where in a single click you are able to send. But again, small but very important and impactful. Just thinking about users' perspective. All right. So this is just the campaigns that were working. First, we looked at the ROI, some campaigns, and then some case study numbers. And then at the end, I have some portability related things openly I want to share, which is where a lot of people get stuck, and then questions. So some quick case studies. How are we on time? We have time, right? Okay. So this is an Australia e-commerce, 15% subscription rate, 3% web push traffic. We saw around 4% conversion from, and 20% increase in revenue from cart abandon. Just okay. Again, you can check other case studies. I'm just sharing what we have seen. This is again super jeweler jewelry. I know I met somebody. Okay, not here in the room, but yeah, jewelry case study. A 22% subscription rate. It's this very high, 9% lift in revenue. These are kind of this is kind of typical numbers, 5% traffic, so this keeps repeating again. We have seen that many times. Okay, so that's on the case study. Then the one topic I do want to talk about is portability. We are a very transparent company, and as a result, we talk about this to everybody. One of the common issues in the industry is that when people, and this is across, I mean, yeah, it's like in general, but web push, because it's a web standard, it's a standard by the browsers, you can do it the right way, so your subscribers are not locked into any vendor, right? And we do it from day one. We tell you, actually I wrote this blog when we launched our company. Again, it's little technical, but I will just tell you the one key point. If you are HTTPS site, make sure the subscription is on your domain. For example, we have the site Meet Magento. We make sure then when they gather the subscription, it's meetmagento.in. It's not on meetmagento.pushengage. If you are using any vendor's name while gathering subscription, red warning, your subscribers are locked. We have an alert in our system. While it helps us, but we still show that alert in our system to say your subscribers are getting locked. Please don't do it. But I'm telling you this again, whether you use our product or not, but wherever you're using, go check. This is the first thing, because tomorrow if you want to migrate, you should have the flexibility. You as a customer and consumer have all the right. Why should anybody take? And 95% of the industry never talk about it, and this is where they're taking advantage again. So just keep check that. Also, there is something called a key that is used with an account in Firebase, etc. We definitely make sure that it's new. If you are for each account, this you can also double check if you're using any other vendor. Okay, are you using a separate key for me, so that tomorrow if I need my subscribers, so if these two things are done, new key and subscribers on your domain, you're good. Just remember that. If you're HTTP, it's little more uh, trickier. But for example, in our dashboard or in our company, at least we have this method called HTTPS subdomain. We can walk you through. Again, the whole idea there is to make sure you gather on your right. Just keep this in mind. Again, maybe it's not a big deal, maybe it is, but I always feel your subscriber should be fully portable, right? So that is that. And then finally I have this benchmark report. So let's say you've been running web push for a long while and you want to see how I'm doing, right? Or and so that's why we produce this report. This is using the same data set which I was talking about, which looks at e-commerce industry, travel industry across many countries and cities, right? I'll just share a flavor of it and then we'll open for Q&A. This is e-commerce in USA. Basically what we saw, around 4% click rates with segmentation much higher, around 16% average subscription rate, best timing to send, 8 to 12, 12 to 4, which is like the office hours. Tuesday, Thursdays were the best day. This is the click rates on a drip campaign. Again, I didn't talk about drip at all, but and then cart abandon. So this is just one set. I think for this crowd, Asia is more relevant, so I got Asia. But we don't have like India only, but Asia. So kind of similar, that you should always use segmentation. We didn't talk about segmentation, but segmentation is like grouping people based on their preferences. So that's really useful. And then click rates, sorry, subscriptions are still very high. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the most important, what we found. So this is a set of data. Just for the reference, the full report is available on our blog.pushengage.com. So feel free to get it across geos. Everything is there. So that's all I think I had, and rest all is backup. Good. So, all right. Thanks everyone.